Welcome everyone to the premiere episode of Hunter Bad Blood. Glad to see everyone's wonderful faces. Except for, Tim's wonderful face isn't here with us. We will see Tim on the next episode. But for everyone else, why don't we do a round of introductions before we dive into our first World of Darkness story since our Mage one-shot here on the channel.
Nice.
Carly, why don't we start with you?
Hi, I'm Carly. You can find me at Carly Steichen on all the social stuff. I also go by Armadillo Dice. I make shiny math rocks as a side hobby. I'm very excited to dive into our World of Darkness, and I will be playing Mari Griff in this game.
Excellent. Who do you want to popcorn it over to?
Let's go to Jason.
All right. Hey, everybody. I'm Jason. Also, Glass Jaws here on Twitch. I play games, have fun, goof off. Same old, same old. You can catch me here or on my Twitch channel. Now I'll go over to Ed.
Hey, my name's Ed. I stream very occasionally as Neuromaster on Twitch, but more and more you're going to find me right here playing tabletops with this fantastic community. Really stoked to be doing some World of Darkness stuff. I haven't done Hunter before, and I'm really looking forward to getting into it.
Excellent.
And Sid, over to you.
Hey, I am Sid. You can find me on the interwebs at _Sundance Sid, and today I'll be playing Ray Shepard. And just send it back on over to Jeremy.
Oh, I guess I should introduce myself. Hey, I'm Jeremy. Here's my channel, and you can find me here running games or playing games or producing games. You can also find me on the socials at WHPubs, or head over to WHpublications.com. Thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. It's good to see some familiar faces. I see Stacy, I see Raven, I see Ian. Thank you all so much for joining. Why don't we dive in? I actually need to just do a thing for myself real quick. I had the music playing and it's just a little much for my senses. It's a little hot in here. Now I have to preface this game with, I have not played Hunter since 1st edition. It's been a minute. This is 5th edition. And I hope you will all be kind to all of us, as none of us have played 5th edition as far as I know. We're going to do our best. So, the year is 2024. In the city of Santa Cruz, we find a fellow in his early 50s. He's waiting outside of a small club. It's Red Door, the only obvious entrance into what is otherwise this kind of nondescript building that doesn't really point out that it is a club inside. There are other businesses attached to it that have signs. One is for burritos. There nearby is a tax preparation business. This person is watching the Red Door, cautiously waiting, maybe for someone inside, maybe to go in himself. We're not sure yet. An alley nearby is growing ever darker as the sun has dipped behind the mountains and behind the on the other side, behind the ocean. Jason, as Peter is watching this Red Door, what's going through his mind?
It's probably just keeping an eye out, or thinking, this could be a good place for them to hunt. But, it's observation. A little bit of jealousy, seeing these kids out having fun, not realizing what the world has in store for them.
Indeed, as you were watching, a group of maybe early 20-year-olds, they look younger to you, like they shouldn't even be in this club, come out. They're laughing, their arms are over one another as they walk past you. One is hiding a beer bottle that he smuggled out, and it falls and breaks on the ground. And as you're watching this, a certain sense of nostalgia sets in. It's really common for you this time of year. It's coming up on October. The sun sets earlier and earlier every night. The leaves have long since changed, and the oppressive fall heat is just kind of pushing on you. And in your mind, you think back. The year is 1999. And Alex, which will one day be known as Peter, is in class at MIT. The sun has gone down, the clock is ticking, you're kind of excited, it's Friday night, you're not really sure what your plans are for the evening, but you were 20, you are in the prime of your life, and you are doing great at class. You have scholarships that you're pretty much getting a free ride to get through college on. You're learning the things that you really think will matter to your future. And as you're sitting in this class, you look over and there's this kind of bronze-skinned girl, well-tanned, kind of bright green eyes. Her hair is sun-bleached brown, and she glances over at you. You smell the kind of coconutty scent of, is that her lotion or maybe sunscreen or bronzer or something? And she smiles at you. You know her name is Blake. You've chatted a couple of times. And as she glances up at the clock and everyone's just kind of doing their work and the teacher is sitting at their desk, right now is more of a self project. Like you're just kind of working on things that the teacher isn't really involved with you on. She leans over to you and she slips you a piece of paper. Hey, there's a party tonight. I don't know if you want to go, but that's the address.
I'll be there.
Nice. She smiles, and you notice her cheeks flush a little bit. She winks at you and goes back to scribbling her notes. Or she's been drinking Malibu. Not yet, but soon.
I saw that. It was making me laugh.
Right? The teacher stands up, looks at the time. There are no bells in MIT. They aren't. This isn't high school. They aren't announcing when you go or whatever to class. He stands up and he kind of looks at the clock. He says, everyone just take off. I'm getting hungry. You're just make sure these are due by Monday. Or this is all due by Monday. So just make sure it's done. And everyone have a great week. And he starts packing up his books. Blake stands up and she smiles at you again and
Wave.
wanders off,
Night.
chatting with some friends. What do you do?
I gather up my things. Start heading outside to go to my car on the other side of campus. And he'll, when he gets outside, he'll look around and embarrassedly just kind of like give out a happy yell.
Nice. So you yell. Some people kind of are startled next to you and they're like, man, what the hell?
He'll kind of skip off, like a happy walk campus, or across campus, I should say.
As you make your way across campus, it just gets darker and darker. The sun has disappeared in that little bit of aura that just lights your way enough to not have to need the street lights or a flashlight or anything. Begins to fade, and it takes you a bit to get across to where you parked. In the distance, you can see your Toyota Corolla, its paint sun damaged. The front bumper is dented in slightly where somebody else dinged it while trying to park and then drove away. And as you're walking, you feel like you hear something, kind of a moaning noise.
That's odd. Look over, see what he saw, or see what's.
Look around and
some help or something.
Your eyes are starting to adjust to the dark. Just outside, or right at the edge of your vision, you can see movement over by that large tree. Not really sure what kind of tree it is, but the branches cover, spread out pretty wide, maybe 12 feet each direction. The leaves, however, have long since fallen off and just make a carpet of golds and browns that just really bring to mind the fall, but there's kind of anticipation for maybe Halloween or whatever other fall things you enjoy doing. But laying on that carpet of leaves, you see a mass at first as your eyes are adjusting. It just looks like a dark mass that's kind of moving around, and then you realize, oh, there's a couple people over there, and they're making some grunty, moany noises.
They're getting started on the party a little bit early.
It is Friday. It isn't the first time you've walked by somebody making out. Maybe the most obvious place. Usually they're a little more well hidden, not right on the path, but
yeah. Alex will kind of chuckle a little bit, kind of think, well, that could be me tonight, maybe, and get in his car and start to, drive off and pass the tree, and as I go through, he'll roll down the window and hey, get a room, you two.
Nice. As your car starts, you kind of have to turn it over a couple times, and then it fires up. There's a little bit of a backfire, and you can smell the gas as you back out and start driving forward. You're a little worried about meeting up with Blake later in your car. You're kind of thinking about that. You see all of this happening. You shout at these people, and for a moment, you're not really sure what you're looking at, as the person that's on top looks at you and kind of rises up. And you're the first thing that goes through your mind is, wow, people just have their kinks or whatever, because there's this face looking at you that's just, it's too long. It's jaws dropping down in a weird distended angle, and it's almost like it has fangs or tusks or something, and it's its eyes are glowing, and it's the weirdest Halloween mask you've ever seen, until it blinks and closes its mouth, and then it begins to flow towards you. You don't see it stand up so much as it just seems to float in your direction.
Yes. Alex probably is a bit stunned for a second, not understanding what he's seeing. And as it starts to get closer and closer, it freaks out a little, and we'll just kind of push the gas and start driving off.
Okay.
Just like, like not understanding what's going on or whatever the hell that is, but it's time to move a little bit.
Okay. So as you push on the gas, your car sputters just slightly, and this thing floats under one of the parking lot lights. And you see it has horns or something. It's dark, oily, lanky hair is dripping past its face. And it has these blackened horns that kind of curl down and around towards its jaw. And it opens its mouth again, and these huge fangs are just like dripping with ichor and blood. And then it's out of your line of sight as your car kicks in and you're hauling ass through this parking lot. What do you do?
Trying to get to the closest exit.
Okay.
Get out of the parking lot. Probably not waiting for the gate.
Gotcha. So as you're flying through the parking lot, you notice flashes of it in your rearview mirror, in your side mirror. It's almost like it's moving between vehicles, moving between rows of cars, trying to keep up with you as you're trying to dodge around people as they're getting in their, like, walking through to get to their cars. People are backing out. You honk on the horn, you whip around them, you head towards the gate. It's a pretty simple, it's not like a full enclosure, it's just like a bar that comes down. It's currently up because it's Friday night and they know everyone's leaving. You don't even stop, you just bolt out on the road. There's the screeching of tires and the smell of burning brakes and rubber as you hit the street beyond. And you glance over and it's already this side of the gate. It's already moving down the street towards you as it is now heading towards like the side of your car. You step on the gas again and floor it.
Yeah, like if it's on the right, I'll try to take a quick left. Though, right now his leg's a little bit wet from seeing this creature.
Okay. As you cut to the left, there are people that were getting in a car nearby, and one of them yells something at you. You don't even hear it. It's just you hear them shout, and then you look up in your rearview mirror and you see something flow over their car. They're not looking at it. They're looking at you. They don't see it. And then it's gone into the shadow. There is beyond the pool of light that they were standing in. Your headlights aren't even on at this point. You haven't thought to turn them on. And as you're looking forward, the night is just this horrid place all of a sudden. And you fumble for the light switch. You click on your headlight, and ahead of you, you see this yellow VW bug that's just kind of like petering along in front of you. Its dim tail lights, you didn't notice. You veer around it as you dodge to not hit it. It honks at you. Meep meep. You're just driving through campus. You're trying to get away from this thing. It seems like it's chasing you, but no one else seems to notice it. Other people are more angry at you, and you're driving. Where are you going?
So he's not thinking extremely rationally right now. Just trying to get away, but probably would try to get to a more bigger road, right? Less traffic in the way, maybe an interstate or a thoroughfare, somewhere where you can go faster without being as much in danger.
Okay.
But you have to get out of campus.
Something that I did forget. As you are gripping the wheel, your knuckles white, your foot just trying to push its way through the floorboard to make yourself go faster. Can you tell us what young Alex looks like.
So young Alex is about 5'9", 170. He's a slim guy. He has a little goatee, decently long hair. Tends to just wear kind of comfortable clothes for the most part. Blue eyes. Just a kind of standard college student. Nothing really major sticks out about him. He's not like a bodybuilder or anything like that. Pretty average guy overall.
Okay. Real quick, thank you, Raven, for donating the bits. We have 10 dice for you to a pool of 10 dice for anyone to use, as they donated them to use as we see fit. So you can use dice, Jason, or whomever throughout the night, and we'll carry them over into the next one if we don't use them all, to either undo a botch or to have a automatic success on a roll. Remember, like you're rolling like a pool of dice to get a number of successes, so using one of these tokens will count as a success.
Thanks, Raven.
All right, so you find that you're out of campus. You're not even sure where the edge of campus was. You're just driving at this point, and as you're looking around, you're trying to figure out where you are. You feel like you're heading north, maybe. You kind of look around. There's an auto body shop that you pass by, and you're trying to think. You're trying to figure out, am I going the right way? And it's when you glance up, and I mean, how fast do you think your Toyota Corolla goes?
I mean, you can get up there for the interstates. It probably caps out about 65 or so.
Okay.
Not much more than that.
Hauling butt. All right. So as you roar down this street at 65, not even quite going. You're not gonna cause the flux capacitor to go off in it, but you notice in the rearview mirror 2 pinpricks of red light. And they're it's almost like they have tracers, and you feel like your heart is just hammering.
Oh yeah.
And your blood pressure's up. You're having a hard time breathing. You look back and you're not sure what you're seeing, because it can't possibly be the eyes of that creature, that thing that you're running from. And yet, as it passes under a street light and seems to almost effortlessly climb over the VW and swoop around it, it's definitely that creature. And it seems to be gaining on you.
Yeah, Alex first thought maybe it was the police and started to slow down, but then seeing the creature, understanding that it's still there, he's like trying to get every bit of power he can out of this old Corolla.
Is it a automatic or a manual?
It's a manual.
Okay. So you like downshift and it just kicks in. It's like revving. You can smell like the antifreeze burning. It's starting to like overheat, and you look up and this thing looks like it's in your backseat. It rises up behind you, and you swear you can see chunks of, at first, I mean, it looks like ground beef, maybe. Something meaty is in its mouth. There's blood, there's drool. And then you glance forward, and there is a white Mazda Miata in front of you. It's like right there. You don't know where it came from. And everything slows down as you look and you realize that you're crossing over like a main road, heading to your left, going west on the road. closest to you in the driver's seat is an older man. He doesn't even seem to see you. He's just smiling, talking. But as you get closer, you notice that in the seat just beyond is a young girl, maybe 10. Her dark hair kind of dropping down as she's turning her head to look. And she looks at you right in the eyes. And there's this crunch. It seems so far away. And you're not even sure what that noise is as you see the front of the Corolla just smash through this smaller car. Not much smaller, but smaller. And then you watch as they just disappear because you're looking at the top of their car all of a sudden. You can see the front of the Corolla is compacted in. There's this dropping feeling in your gut, like you're on a roller coaster. And you just watch as the car disappears from your view, and then upside down you can see this mist, this strange murky form, and its pinprick eyes. And then everything speeds up, and your car lands on its roof. There are sparks as it just shreds the metal off the top. You're watching them, the sparks just sail away from you, and as it rocks back, you can see the Miata as it careens off to your right now. And that mist is still back there. It's in front of you now. And then you start spinning, and there's this weird sense of almost euphoria, but in a bad way. And you start feeling nauseous. And then the car comes to a slow stop. You can smell gas. You can hear honking horns. But you can't feel much of anything. You look down, and the steering wheel is a lot closer than it used to be. It's kind of like right up in your face. Unfortunately, you remember hitting the seatbelt, like it stopped you from flying out. You're just kind of hanging here upside down. What do you do?
Oh, no. He's like rubbing his head, looking around, seeing if he sees that creature. Not really even processing the wreck yet.
As you rub your head, you kind of bring your hand back, and there's a little bit of red stickiness. Apparently hit your head somewhere. You kind of look around, and you can see like your windshield is shattered. Your windows have broken and kind of flown everywhere. And there's dripping. Like red fluid is dripping down onto the ceiling of the car. And you're trying to figure out what's leaking. But you can't quite figure it out. You don't see anything. It doesn't smell like anything. Right now, the scent of gas is really just kind of overpowering.
Sure.
You don't see the creature right now. But you do hear shouts.
I mean, right now those shouts are probably like seeming like half a world away from him. You know, his head's probably still ringing from the accident, just trying to get his bearings. He'll probably reach up and try to release his seatbelt if he can.
You
to try to crawl out of this.
Reach down, and your fingers kind of fumble around and you click it, and you feel the release, but you don't really move much. And then you pull your hand back up, and it's just covered in red fluid, the same that's been dripping down from somewhere below you, really above you, but you're upside down. And as you start to process it, as you start to think about what it might be, and there's a little bit of shake that enters your hand, your body starts to tremble slightly. You look over, and there's feet, maybe. They're strange, putrid flesh with long, darkened, gnarly toenails. A kind of raggedy gray cloak drags behind them as it walks towards the vehicle. It's on the other side. It's on the passenger side. And you can't quite see what it is until it leans down and that strange Halloween mask face looks at you and begins to smile. A long, putrid green tongue licks those fangs as it blinks with reddened, glowing eyes.
Alex will just start yelling for help and trying to like squirm to get out as much as he can. You know, I know he's probably really stuck. His legs are like pinned in, but he's like trying to wiggle, trying to do anything, and just yelling for help, hoping that somebody will come help him get out of this nightmare.
So as you begin yelling, this sound begins kind of reverberating your ears. It's not even like you're hearing it. It's more like the vibrations of it cause your ears to tremble. And you realize that this thing is laughing at you. And it spins, it pushes the car and spins it. And as you are watching out of your passenger window, its feet are slowly moving as it spins the car to in front of your car. You can see it slightly through the crushed window or through the crushed windshield. It gets ever closer to you as it's spinning this car to get you closer to it rather than walking around. That's when you feel the heat. You hadn't noticed it before. There's so much going on. Your brain's trying to process. But behind you are drizzles of fire seeping through. It's really like drizzles of liquid are seeping through and catching fire as they're dripping through the backseat of your car. And outside, as this thing grows closer and closer, you notice the puddle of gas that leads back towards your collision. And it ignites. There's this flare of heat, and you cover your eyes. You can't even help it. You're trying to get away from being burned alive. And you hear this shrieking noise. And the car stops spinning. What do you do?
I mean, he's still terrified. Now he's kind of stuck between fire and whatever here. He's literally just trying to pull his way free. Like, if there's anything he can like pull on the wheel to try to get his legs free. He's just trying to do anything he can to escape at the moment.
Okay.
There's no thought of anything else but fear and terror in his mind. Just he's got to get away.
as you're pulling at the wheel, trying to force it away from you, pull it up, pull it over, out, however you can get out. You're pushing, trying to push the seat back. You're trying to reach that lever that'll allow you to slide backwards. You just can't. Everything's mushed. Everything's bent the wrong direction. You can't quite reach those things when you feel a hand grab you. What do you do?
He probably screams in terror initially, not knowing what's grabbing him. But
So you scream, and the hand lets go, and then you hear a voice, and it's familiar. You just heard it. You can't place it, but you just heard this voice. Alex, are you okay?
No, we gotta go.
Look, I'm trying to get I'm trying to get help. I can't get the door open. Just hang on. There's fire. We gotta get you out of there.
Yeah, we got. Please help.
And you hear footsteps, shoes slapping on the pavement over broken glass as people rush up. You hear the grinding.
Watch out for the creature.
The what?
Watch out for the creature.
Okay, just take it easy. We're gonna get you out of there. You hear the rending of metal. You look as a couple of people. One of them is a woman that you recognize. It's Blake from your class. And her and some guy, some stranger, are pulling on the door, and there's this popping of metal and plastic as the door manages to be wrenched open, and they reach in, and they're trying to undo your seatbelt. They realize you've already done that. They're messing around trying to figure out how to get you out of this, and Blake reaches up and grabs that lever that you couldn't reach, and she pulls it, and you drop. You just hit the pavement as the guy is kind of dragging you out at the same time. And Blake stands up and looks at you and screams. She puts her hands over her mouth and she says, "Oh my God."
Please, we gotta go. He's like frantically looking around before it comes back.
You feel the hands that were gripping you kind of shake a little, and then they firm up and they begin dragging you away from the car, away from the fire. You look around, you don't see that thing, that creature that you were trying to get away from, but you do see laying on the roof, just part of it sticking out of your front window, like your windshield, it's your pant leg. Looks like your right shoe is like sticking out of your pant leg. And it's a really weird sensation as you're just like trying to figure out how your shoe and your pant leg got left behind. And they drag you off and lay you in the cool grass. They're standing over you. You hear voices. Everything's just getting real soft, though. It's very distant. Blake kneels down next to you, and she actually, like, brushes the hair out of your face. And she says, "It's okay. We're trying to get the bleeding to stop. Just hang in there. You just stay with me, okay? You just stay with me. Look, there was somebody in the other car. I have to go check on him real quick." And you see her get up and run off. You hear more voices, more shouting. The strange fellow that is next to you, stranger, is looking down at you. He's holding your hand for some reason. He's like, "It's okay, buddy. You're gonna be fine. The ambulance is right down the road. Can you hear it?" You're like, "Oh yeah, I can hear." And then you're on the stretcher. You don't remember the ambulance getting there. You're on the stretcher. Your mouth kind of hurts. Maybe you taste blood. You think maybe you bit your tongue during all of this. You just hadn't noticed yet. You're feeling a little sore. And you see that there's a couple other ambulances around. One of them has what looks like a gurney with a closed bag on it. And they're wheeling it towards the open paramedic, or the open ambulance. But nearby there's another ambulance, and you see Blake standing over there for some reason, and she's holding some girl's hand. You just see her look at you, and there's this strange sense that you get of anger as she glares at you. Then you're in the hospital. There's doctors talking to you, telling you that they had to take the other one too. It wasn't salvageable. They did their best to make them as clean cuts as possible. It'll be several weeks before they can fit you for prosthetics. And these words are just kind of washing over you. A couple days pass. And for the first time you wake up and you kind of have a sense of where you are. And you just hurt. Like, all of you hurts. You notice that your arm is in a cast. You have a neck brace on. There's definitely some bandages around your head you can feel. Your left arm is pretty okay for the most part. But sitting in bed, looking down at the sheets that go out from you and the blanket that they've put over you, you can't help but notice there's a void there where there should be 2 lumps where your legs should be. What do you do?
You will, and he thinks he knows, but just it's not real to him yet until he looks. It probably takes him like several days to build up the confidence, even though he knows it's true, but he doesn't want to see it yet. And then eventually, he'll look. And it's almost like, I don't know, shock, scream, like, just disbelief. Just anger, like, probably during all this time, he's probably been asking people about the red eyes before this, right? Like,
Yeah.
Did they see the creature type thing?
As you're staring at the ends of your legs where the rest of your legs used to be, you start thinking back across the last few days, and you remember Blake stopping by to see you, but she never came in. You remember seeing her at the door and at the window. You remember police coming in and you telling them that there was this creature that was chasing you, that it killed somebody on campus and they had to find the body, or maybe they were okay, or maybe they were just hurt. You have to find them and help them, and you just feel like they didn't believe you, that you remember them ordering drug tests and alcohol level tests. You remember the doctors talking about your condition and how you were lucky to pull through, like all of these various conversations that happened while you were awake but not necessarily coherent. And it all just comes tumbling in on you, and you realize your left arm is handcuffed to the bed, to the metal frame that is supporting you.
Yeah, he'll look down. I mean, at this point, everything's just hammering him. He's probably crying. A little bit of, and just like sobbing some, trying to understand, angry, like, why am I handcuffed, yelling a little, like, just kind of everything hitting at once, all these different emotions, asking, what happened, trying to get an explanation of, what happened to the other car, what happened, where was the creature, did anybody stop it, did they find the other body, like, just like everything hitting him at once. Probably ringing the nurse if he can figure out where the buttons are and reach them. Though obviously with the handcuffs on his good arm, he probably can't. And then almost, I mean, he's seen his legs and he almost laughs at the stupidity of handcuffing. Like, where's he going to go? Or how's he going to go? Right? Just the random thought there.
So as you are going through all of this, you end up having a conversation with a police officer again. And again, you bring up the creature and you're asking if anyone was hurt. And so far, everyone's been very gentle with you. And if they haven't, like, kind of had, like, condolences for you, it's been like they were walking on eggshells around you. And as you're giving your statement again, this time more lucidly and more coherently, and you start bringing up this creature again, the police officer sighs and he closes the book and he looks at you and his face is just filled with anger. And he says, if you think you're going to get out of this on a insanity plea or some crap like that, I'm going to make it my personal mission to make sure that you go away for as long as you can. And he checks to make sure, like he grabs the handcuffs and shakes them to make sure that they're not loose or anything, and then he walks out.
Alex is kind of stunned a little bit at this. Like, he hadn't thought about any consequences or anything at this point. And the cop kind of hitting him with that. It's like, like, what the hell, right? Like, I didn't do anything wrong here. He's getting, I wouldn't say angry, but well, I guess it is anger. Like, hey, why aren't you listening to me here?
Okay. So, as we return to 2024, we find Alex. He's going by an alias of Peter these days. He's sitting on the sidewalk. Go ahead and describe Alex today.
All right. Alex is now 50 years old, bald, got a long beard, white, very, very grayed out, very skinny for the most part. Obviously, he's missing his legs from above the knees. He seems, to have a permanent scowl on his face. You can see he has some prison tattoos on his arm for the most part. Nothing really on his face or anything, but Definitely seems like he's lived a hard life since '99. Obviously, he's not carrying dynamite as he's going down the streets. But
I mean, maybe he is. You just can't see it. He's not like open carry. Okay.
he has, a kind of old, beat up wheelchair, but seems to, have some maintenance done on it here and there.
So as that group of friends wanders off and you return to your vigil outside, keeping an eye out for anything out of the ordinary, we're going to head inside the club. As soon as I figure out which button I need, I think it's this one. All right. Hello again, everyone. Inside the club, we find mostly 20-year-olds, college-age students, traditional college-age students, I should say, dancing the night away, drinking, partying, whereas the Red Room Lounge is typically a like a live band kind of place. Tonight there's a DJ spinning, kind of a special event. Somebody suggested the DJ. Remind me what the DJ's name is?
DJ Scanlon?
It's DJ Scanlon. And behind the bar, we see Raymond, or Ray Shepard. Sid, go ahead and describe Ray for us. You are muted.
I thought I unmuted that. So I was saying, Ray is a fairly tall individual, about 6'2", at 200 pounds. He's not wayfish, but at this he this is a good medium between skinny and just super buff. So it's a good in between. It looks like he works out a little bit. Just beard, goatee, short hair, and just working as a bartender does, making sure everything's sorted out behind the bar, everybody's getting drinks, everyone's having a good time.
Nice. So you are the head bartender here at the Red Room, and you're pretty used to the constant red lighting that's around you. It can be a little off-putting to some people, but you've really kind of gotten used to it. And you're looking around, and as you grab up the like 3/4 that college girl left you as a tip, you just drop it in the tip jar. You look over, and at the other end of the bar is your coworker for tonight, Fiona. Fiona has some really long, dark braided hair, kind of mocha colored skin. She's really done up her makeup tonight, and she's wearing kind of like not quite like a raver go-go outfit, but she's definitely playing the part with the music tonight, as opposed to her usual like jeans and t-shirt or whatever, and you can tell that her end of the bar is just raking in the tips. As you look at her tip jar, she's actually had to set up another pitcher and has set the first one down on the ground, and it's not that late in the evening. She's already just killing it over there. And as the music thumps away, you've always had this sense, and you've learned to not tell people about it, because when you do, either you get laughed at or it's caused problems. You had a lot of issues, growing up. Sometimes the things you told people that you knew about them somehow it didn't come across well. And so you've really learned to not bring these things up. But there's this weird feeling that you get sometimes. And as this feeling settles into your gut tonight, it's a little bit like ice. It's like drinking cold water too fast. You look around the room, and you're trying to figure out why. You always know it's something. You know that there's always a reason, but you never know what that reason is until usually much later. And tonight you're trying to keep an eye out for it. You really want to know what it is setting this off. And you look over and you see these 3 individuals that came with the DJ. They don't really fit in with this crowd. You're not really even sure why they came with the DJ. They're done up in spiked leather vests and coats. They have spiked collars, and one of them has a really large mohawk that's been worked into big purple spikes. You definitely get like more of a punk vibe than this kind of like trancey house music, whatever. And there's 2 women and a guy, and for the most part they've been pretty quiet. But as the night's gone on and they've been drinking on the house because they're with the DJ, they're getting more and more raucous, and they're out there and they're like doing the exaggerated techno dancing where they're like kind of obviously making fun of the people around them. You start wondering if they're gonna cause a problem. And it's about then that you notice these 2 people that just do not fit in. One of them, your first gut reaction is school teacher or cop, one of the 2. And the other maybe fits in a little. It's hard to tell, but their stance, the way he looks at people isn't quite as loose, as fitting in, I guess, as you'd expect for a crowd that, you know, the people in the crowd. So you're just kind of keeping an eye on these people. And this kind of muscle ripped guy comes up. He's got like a fishnet tank top on. His eyes are bright green because he's wearing contacts, and he has these multiple colors of hairspray in his hair. It's like, oh, hey, can I get a beer, whatever, not Budweiser, not like Coors, top end beer, like a craft beer. Do you have like a micro craft beer, maybe something chocolate?
Yeah, I got something for you, and I just hand him like a Michelob Ultra. There you go, right there. There.
How much is that?
And I give him a price that bear usually is.
And he slaps down like the exact price, and then pulls like some loose change out and dumps it on top of his. Thanks, man. And he goes off and starts dancing. And you look up and you don't see those 2 people, but those 2 people across the room are making their way through the crowd. Tonight, Mary and Billy, you have come to the Red Room because your cohort, Hayden, who's back at the hideout, the lair, the cells, headquarters, he works the local colleges, and he's heard that things have been happening in this area, strange things, disappearances. You've decided to come down and keep an eye out, and while your backup waits outside, you're looking for what might be going on inside the club. Let's start with Mary. Mary, can you describe yourself?
Yes. Mari, I know we changed that last
That's
minute,
right, sorry.
Mari. It's okay. Yeah, Mari is the kind of woman that is like very attractive without trying to be. As in, very like minimal to no makeup, but anybody who sees her notices her. She's got tan skin, like beach blonde hair that is cut in like a long bob that's just kind of done in like natural waves. And she's very like, she's not like dressed for a club. She's wearing like a t-shirt and cargo pants with some just like nice running shoes. And yes, she has a very kind of like low-key vibe about her, as in, yes, she's probably very good with children. But if you ever took a closer look, you would know, I mean, at the very least, she works out. Like, the muscle there is not for show. It's there, and it might hurt you if you did the wrong thing.
And what's Mary doing?
So Mari is probably moving towards the bar, because I mean that's where people talk. That's where information can be found in a club.
Okay.
So she's probably moving towards the bar at this moment, slipping through the crowd. Probably pretty easily.
As you're slipping through the crowd, you come face to face with this like wall of muscle wearing this fishnet shirt, and he looks down at you. He's like, "Oh, Cougar Mama, yeah. What's up, honey?" And he starts like dancing with you, or really at you. He's dancing at you. Behind you, Billy, can you tell us what you look like?
Sure. Billy is kind of built like a dancer, though he doesn't move like one. Stands about like 6 feet tall, wiry, blue eyes. He's grown what used to be like a high and tight haircut out into like a short, like a blonde short pomp. If he was like 10 years younger, he'd kind of have that like boy band kind of look to him. He's a good looking guy. He's in a pair of like navy blue track pants and like a white tank top, kind of like filling out his personal style with a pair of fingerless gloves, some like deep burgundy cross trainers, and like a thick chain choker. And then pretty much whenever he's out and about, so like tonight as well, he's wearing this like sky blue fanny pack, emblazoned with a bunch of sequins and embroidered with a rainbow shooting star.
Nice. So Billy, you see this guy, like he looks like maybe he's one of those beach lifters that goes down like every so often. You see him out on the beach. When you're out there, you always see them on the beach, but like you don't necessarily go out to the beach all the time. They go out and they set up their like lifting equipment on the beach, and they like work out there together. You're pretty sure you've seen this guy there. He just like looks that familiar to you. And he's just like blocked Mari's way, and she tries to walk around or do whatever, and he just like, he's big enough that he's just moving in the way. What do the two of you do?
Oh, Mari is gonna like reach out and put her hand on his forearm and squeeze way too tightly, like kind of digging her fingernails into his forearm, and just be like, "Oh, honey, no, I need to go over there," and then just walks by.
Let's make this the first roll of the game, since we're in present day. So you're gonna do let's do an athletics, so strength athletics.
All right. Okay. 5 dice. Ooh, that is 3 successes.
That's what you needed, quite handily. Like, you just squeeze in a way, like you kind of know where the nerve is, and you push, and he drops his beer, even though it's in the other hand, and he clutches his arm. He's like, ow! Ow, get off me! Ow, what the hell? Ow! And Billy, you just see her, like, direct him out of her way, and then continues on. What do you do, Billy?
I think Billy sort of like, I'm going to say he immediately intercepts this guy and essentially trying to get his attention. So he's, what the hell was up with that? Wait, don't I know you? Like, I could have sworn I saw you down on the beach last Thursday.
Yeah, man, she was mean. Yeah, I'm usually on the beach on Thursdays, and usually Tuesdays and Wednesdays as well. Sometimes
Shit,
Mondays and Fridays.
Like, you are freaking built. You gotta tell
Thank
me,
you.
like, what your routine is, man.
Right? Well, I could actually, I have a business. If you wanted to, like, come on out someday, I'm usually there, and I could, like, we could work it.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Maybe what you said, like Tuesday's coming up again. Maybe in the morning we grab like some pre-workout and you can show me what you got.
Nice. So as you have this conversation with Beach Bro, Mari, you're heading towards the bar, and there's just this like pit of irritation in your stomach. But it's not just at that guy. He's just the most recent reason. Today has just been like not the best. It's Friday. You spent the day teaching, and as you were getting ready to head out for the day, you don't have the last period of the day, you don't have a class that time. And so you were like, getting ready to leave, and there's this feeling in your gut that you just want to go check on the girls. And so you look around, and like your fellow teachers and everyone knows that you have like this kind of connection with Gretchen and Stephanie. And they haven't said anything about it. Like they know you're just like keeping an eye out on them, trying to make sure that they are doing their best, that they're being taken care of. But every so often you just feel weird being like the one who goes and makes sure that they're taken care of. Hopefully that was the right button. So as you were heading through the halls of the school, you come to the class that you know that they share at the end of the day. Not all of their classes are they together, but in this class you'll be able to find them pretty easily, and you poke your head in, and sure enough, they're over, like sitting in the corner, chatting with one another while the teacher's talking. Stephanie is like looking at something on Gretchen's phone, and they giggle, and the teacher stands up and looks around, and they like quick go back to looking like they're like writing notes and stuff. And there's a moment where you feel like they're safe, and you appreciate that. But as you turn and head out the doors to head to your car, your mind just kind of goes back a couple of years ago. It is early spring. Sorry, it's early summer, late spring. School is out, and so you've been spending more of your time down at the River Street shelter, helping the families there, making sure that people are getting the food that they need, the beds that they need, the services they need if they're in, danger or are trying to find jobs, etc. And you ended up taking a night shift. So you're there pretty late in the afternoon. It's dinner, and you walk in, and everyone's kind of out in this common area. There's a small wireless speaker, that's like playing music from somebody's cell phone. And everyone's just having like a great time. You go in, you know that you aren't allowed to drink alcohol, but you can see that some of the other workers have snuck in some beers and some like hard seltzers and stuff. You're all just kind of hanging out, and the vibe is pretty chill, and some people come up and thank you, and at a certain point, Stephanie's mom. Sorry, I lost my place.
Stephanie's mom, Claire? Does that help?
Thanks. Stephanie's mom, Claire, comes up to you and she gives you a hug. Thank you so much for all your help. It's things have been really bad, with just me and Claire, but I think, with just me and Stephanie, but I feel like, you've really kind of been helping her get grounded, like a little more here, and I appreciate that.
I can only do it because of you. I mean, you're her mom, and you're the one that's making the steps, taking the steps.
She takes a deep breath and she wipes some tears that are forming in her eyes, and she looks down at your beer and she smiles. She's like, "Where can I get one of those?"
Oh, I'll see if I can get you one.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Just one.
Just
yeah. As the night wears on, people get tired, start heading back in, and there's sound ordinances, so you pretty much close everything down by 9, and even though the sun is still up, the only people outside are just kind of milling about. Some people are like eating some of the last bits of food from the barbecue that was brought in, and then everyone goes in to just kind of hang out for the night. Usually things are turn in pretty early here, and it's lights out at 10. And you go in and you're looking around for Shelly, who's supposed to be there with you, and you find a note in your office. It's like a communal office, but you go in and you see a note stuck on the door. It says, "Mari, sorry, I had to chat. Something I ate did not agree with me." And you're thinking about it.
Did not disagree.
Did not disagree. Really, right. Actually, that's what it says, because as you're thinking about it, you remember she was like flirting with Ted, who also volunteers here. And you're like, right. So you settle in for a long night solo, and usually there's 2 people so that one of you can kind of... Overnights are a little difficult, like you get sleepy and all that, and you are allowed to take breaks and nap as long as there's somebody else, and so you're trying to stay awake. But like the heat is just... It's so hot already, and the fan that's blowing is just moving hot air around. It's muggy, it's unpleasant, and you're just kind of feeling groggy. And there's this banging on the door. And you sit up and you realize you kind of had drifted off, and you listen, and then there's the banging again. And it's frantic, and it's coming from the door that leads into the building. Now you know that there's the kind of garage door that goes out in the common area, but everything's locked up at night, mostly for the safety of those who stay here. But people can come to the door to ask for entry, you know, to be let in. But you kind of have to check them over and make sure everything's legit before they do so. So you head to the door, and as you're standing at the door, there's the sudden banging again. You listen for a moment, and you can hear some kind of heavy breathing on the other side. What do you do?
Who is it? Are you all right?
Can I stay here tonight?
I take a quick look around. One moment, and I'm gonna like do the like chain lock thing where I like can open the door but still have the lock.
Yeah.
So I partially open the door.
As you open the door, you just get hit in the face with this wall of stench. There's body odor for sure, but there's this other smell on top of it. It's pretty bad. And you look and you see this person. The voice sounded more masculine, but you can't even see this person's body for all of the layers they have on. There's like a cowl, like a ragged cotton wrapping on their face, and bright green eyes stare out from underneath a hood that's pulled low over. Yeah, I was just wondering if I could stay here tonight. I don't really have anywhere else to go.
Are you okay? Are you
Oh.
in danger?
No, I'm fine. I just I think I got a sniffle or something. I can stay away from other people and stuff. I don't want to cause anyone any issues.
Just give me a moment. And she'll shut the door and
Wait,
unlatch the lock,
miss?
and then reopen the door.
I really appreciate it if you just let me in. I just really need a place to sleep tonight.
Well, there are ways to go about this. So why don't you come with me and we'll get the paperwork settled, all right?
I really appreciate that. Thank you. Like his mannerisms, you feel like he might be on something. Maybe he's coming down off of it and he's just looking for a safe place to do that.
All right, sir. Follow me, and I'm gonna take him just like towards like the office.
Okay.
And does he? I know he said that he was okay, but does he look injured or any of that, or just kind of like a little out of it?
You're not seeing any obvious sign of injury, although he does walk a little hunched. Like you think he would be a bit taller than you if he stood up to his full height, but the way he is right now, he's a little shorter, his hunch kind of bending him like a shrimp.
Yeah. So I'll just kind of have him. I won't have it so that he's behind me, because that's not what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Like that's a whole thing. And so I'll just kind of have him move in front front of me and just kind of point in the direction towards the office.
Okay. He kind of walks, and every so often he looks back at you and then looks forward again, and he's rubbing his hands, kind of constantly moving. He's always moving.
All right. So, in order for you to stay here tonight, given everything, we do need you to sign in with your name, and if you have a phone number, we require that as well. Some sort of contact.
Oh, I don't have a phone. Oh, I can't afford that. You just call me Davy. That's fine.
Okay. Well, need you to sign in here on this list. Can you do that?
Oh yeah. He scrawls something on it.
Okay, so before we can have you go into the common areas, we should probably get you cleaned up. Make sure you don't bring anything bring anything in that might.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to take you towards the showers.
Okay. Do you have anything to eat?
I'll grab you something while you're showering, okay?
Okay, thank you. Real quick, I'm redeeming all of those pupper treats that have been, or I'm delivering all those pupper treats that have been redeemed this evening. Thank you, everyone. Right?
Pupper treats. We love
Thank
it.
you. So you guide him to the showers, give him some clean towels. There's like a lost and found bin that's set up over in this area pretty much for this purpose, and you kind of point out that if he needs anything, he's welcome to like grab what he needs out of there. Thanks. I'll be out in a few minutes.
All right. Yeah, so I will leave, and I'm gonna go find him some food. I'm gonna keep an ear out for the signs of water before I leave.
Yeah, you hear the faucet turn on, and pretty soon you see steam kind of rolling out. There aren't like doors into here, but it's like one of those hallways that goes back and turns, so you can't see into the shower, but it's the steam comes rolling out of that, and you hear some splashing.
Yeah, so I'll go grab some quick leftovers from the meal earlier, and then come back
Okay.
towards the showers.
So as you go through the kitchen, and you like wait till the door closes to turn the light on because you know it can wake some of the people that are sleeping out in the common room, and you wait for your eyes to adjust as the lights flicker on. Heading over to the cooler, you open it up, and there's like tin or aluminum trays that are covered with aluminum foil, and you pull some out, and you're kind of like looking in, and you just kind of start picking things out at random. You have no idea what this guy likes, and he probably needs something to counteract, like some food in his stomach to counteract whatever he's on.
Definitely some protein.
And you hear something like fall in the common room, like kind of a metallic crashing noise. And you hear it skitter like something fell and then was sliding across the what's the word I want to use here? Linoleum floor.
Yeah, I will move out towards the door to look into the common room.
As you open the door, that smell that hit you earlier is quite strong, but it's it's not like the unwashed person smell. It's not like dirt. It's really like it hits you in the face, and it's almost like working in a garden for some reason is what hits your mind. There's this kind of composty, earthy smell. You look out and there's the light behind you. Your eyes are trying to adjust. Very hard to see what's going on. There's no lights on in the room. Even though there's like the exit light over the emergency exit, and there's like a hallway light that's always on, you don't see either of those either. The room is quite dark.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take out my phone and put on the little like flashlight app.
You turn on the flashlight app, and immediately you notice there are these tendrils that are like spread across the floor and growing up the wall, and they're spread over the ceiling, and they're quite quickly like growing there. You can see their pointy tips working their way into the false ceiling holes, and like growing up into them, growing back down, spreading out from there on the walls. You can hear them growing as these strange tendrils just spread. But your light doesn't go much further than that. You can see just barely one of the cots off in at the edge of the light. It seems like there are some of these tendrils spiraling up and around the legs of it, growing over it.
I move closer with the flashlight to see if.
As you get closer, you notice that there's something laying on the cot. You don't really recognize it at first because it's not quite the right shape, it's not quite the right color or texture, but it's really like the blonde hair that makes you realize that this was a person. There's a person you talked to not a few hours ago. They're wearing Claire's clothing, but their skin is mottled and desiccated and dried, mummified, already cracking, crumbling in, collapsing.
Almost in a panic, she's gonna move towards where she knows like the light switches are to like flip them on for the whole room.
You move in and you see, as you reach for the light switches, some of those tendrils start to grow off the wall, reaching towards your hand.
How far off the wall? Are they like reaching towards my hand or reaching towards me?
It seems like it's because you're reaching your hand. There's just a bunch that seem to be coming off the wall towards your hand. But as you watch, maybe a couple do start almost like tasting the air and growing towards you lower and higher, kind of in the shape of you coming off the wall.
I do a quick like glance around to see if it's just coming from the wall or if like all of the tendrils that I had seen like from the floor are now trying to.
You see a few on the floor that seem to have altered their course and are moving their way towards you. But for the most part, it's the ones you're closest to seem to have noticed you and are expanding in your direction.
I will almost unthinkingly like take a step back, just not sure what to do. Just kind of in a panic, and start moving just in a direction where there's no tendrils.
Okay. You can either go down the hall that will lead you back to the office, or you can go back into the kitchen door.
I think I go back into the kitchen.
Okay. As you open the door and the light spills out, it's stepping from this weird, surreal nightmare that has set in into the normal again, and the door swings closed behind you. There's a little bit of that strange scent lingering in the air. Maybe it's in your nostrils, like carrying it around with you. What do you do?
I'm gonna go look for a big knife and a lighter, because plants.
Sure. There on the wall is like one of those magnetic strips, and there's just like a line of utensils, but there's like a butcher knife and some other various chef knives and all of those, some paring knives. Which one do you want to grab?
I will probably grab the butcher knife, because there was a lot of tendrils. And then I'm going to see if I can get a lighter also.
Yeah, you know that.
Or moving back to the door.
Okay. Yeah, knowing like you don't smoke, but several of the people here do, and it's always an issue. People are always stealing each other's lighters or losing them, and so there's like a communal bowl that just has lighters in it now, and you run over there and you grab, you're like flicking them. Some of them are completely out of juice. Some of them, like you flick and they just the little flint isn't striking, and then you manage to find one that lights up. What do you do?
Head back to the door. I want to make sure this isn't just some dream or nightmare that I'm having.
As you get to the door, the thought crosses your mind until you can hear the expanding sounds, the growing sounds of the tendrils, whether they're roots or whatever they are. You can hear them. They're fibrous, squelching noises.
Yeah, she's gonna like kind of slowly open the door. She doesn't want to like rush in if they've encroached to where the door is, so she's gonna like slowly open the door back out to the common area.
As you open the door, so the door is a push pull, like it can go either way. Which way are you opening it?
Probably pulling
Okay.
back towards me so I can move back as I look.
As you pull it open, the light from the kitchen spills out, and you see that over by the light switch, the ones that had grown off in your direction have just kind of stopped. Some of them have turned back and are like growing up and towards the ceiling or towards the wall. Some are just like steady, hanging in the air. Some that were on the floor have reached the wall just down from the door and are kind of going up the side. You see a couple of tendrils kind of at the outer metal frame that holds the hinges of the kitchen door, but nothing is encroached on the door space.
I think first thing she's gonna try is if like there's a couple that are like right near the frame, she's gonna take the lighter and like touch the fire to like one of the tendrils of
Okay.
on the frame.
As you touch it to that tendril, there's not enough here to really worry about, but you notice that they do kind of start growing towards you as you get closer, and then you flick the lighter and the spark lights, the flame goes up, and the little bit of tendril catches like immediately and begins to shrivel, and you can hear this high-pitched whine, almost like a firework, very quietly going off, like a bottle rocket. This whining, shrieking noise.
But it only like burns the tiny little tendril.
Yeah, it seems like it catches for a little bit and then kind of burns itself out. So it did go for longer than where the flame was touching it.
Well, then she's good. I mean, she's a teacher and she's a science teacher. She's got to figure out what works. So she's got to take her butcher knife and chop like a tendril that is also growing towards her.
Sure. Why don't we do a roll?
Okay.
This is gonna be a strength or dexterity brawl.
Ooh, great. I'm really good at this, guys. 1, 2, 3, 3 successes.
Nice. Yeah, you easily slice through them as you get closer, even though they do seem to have reactions to you as you get closer. Not quite fast enough, though, as your knife slices through them. Bits fall to the ground. They do squirm a bit, but don't seem to be growing or able to move towards you. And you kind of continue to cut them away.
Yeah. I think she tries to cut them away, but it's not making as much of a dent as she wants, like as quickly as she wants to be able to move. She's gonna step back into the kitchen and she's gonna look for like an aerosolized spray, whether it's like some Febreze or some sort of thing that's an aerolized spray that she can. Insecticide would be even better.
Yeah,
but...
they have cooking spray, aerosol cans,
Yes.
just like stocked up on one of the shelves. It's like the
Yeah.
generic Pam butter spray or canola spray or something.
Yeah, so she's gonna grab one of those, and she's gonna take the lighter. She's gonna spray.
Yeah,
Make a little homemade flamethrower to try and clear a path to where she can figure out what the fuck is going on.
Okay. So you easily clear the wall off away from the light switch. If you want to turn on the lights.
Yes.
You turn on the lights and you step 2 steps away to get to where you can see the entirety of the room. But those steps seem to take hours as your vision processes what has happened in this room in the matter of minutes. Because when you turned off the lights earlier, there were rows of sleeping people or people bedding down. There were cots, there were children, there were elderly folk, there were adults, men, women, people that were just trying to find a way. And now there are overturned beds, there are spread blankets, there are stuffed toys and bits of food that have been spread around, and mostly crumbling ash shapes within clothing. And risen above all of this in the center of the room on stalks of this fibrous tendril material is this person who's crusted with weird growths. Some stick out like shelves, and you can see little spores falling from them. You can see their green eyes are blazing with this like satisfaction that you've only seen on somebody who has just, like on heroin addicts who have just taken a hit to, for you to help them get through their withdrawals, and they do just like microdoses, like this satisfaction that crosses their face, this look of ecstasy as these tendrils reach out from his body and have spread through the room like a parasite or a fungus or something.
Is there anybody that looks like that they're still alive?
You don't see anything move except for the softly swaying stalk that holds him up and little movements of the tendrils as they continue to expand.
He hasn't noticed me yet, even though I flipped all the lights on.
It seems that he hasn't. His face isn't looking at you. You get the feeling that he's just lost in bliss at the moment.
I think there's a moment where she just freezes in just complete bafflement. She's no idea what has happened other than that there's a bunch of bodies of people that she was just helping hours earlier, and some thing in the air, and her mind is reeling and thinking faster than her body can keep up with, and so there's a moment where she just stands there frozen before, I guess you could call it a plan, comes to mind. And she's gonna slip back into the kitchen.
As you begin to step, you hear that person's voice, not as haggard now, not as twitchy, but euphoric, as it says, "Oh, thank you for letting me in tonight. I was so needing this." And you look up and his face is turned towards you. His eyes are wide, just like almost bursting out as they glare at you. But there's a look of rapture on his face. What do?
What exactly is this? As I kind of start backing towards the kitchen.
You notice some of the stalks begin to shift and change their position to start growing towards you. As he says, "Oh, this is a meal unlike I've had in so long. Usually I have to rely on those who live under bridges and in boxes and in tents in the open."
A meal. Are you still hungry?
Always.
Another step back.
And there's a slight shift as the main stalk kind of leans forward, and you notice that it's like slowly, not gliding, but the roots upon which it sits are pushing it forward, and you notice that he's getting closer. Slowly, but he is getting closer.
You going to stop here?
Why would I stop?
Well, you told me all I needed to know. And she turns and runs into the kitchen. It's gonna turn on all of the all of the burners.
Okay.
In the kitchen.
Like the burners or just the gas?
The gas.
Okay.
The gas. But yeah, depending on what kind of I guess stovetops they have in the kitchen.
Yeah, they're gas. And so you turn them on without lighting, like you don't push the ignition. You hear the jets of the gas start, and there's that immediate acrid, like rotten egg smell that begins to fill the kitchen. The door's swinging back and forth, and you can hear him. Oh, don't be like that. All of us need to eat.
Yeah, but not all of us need to eat living, thinking human beings. And she's gonna get some aluminum, crumple it up, put it in the microwave.
Yeah. You see a larger trunk start to push its way through the door. The door stops swinging and is just pushed open as it's beginning to reach in. It hits like one of the work tables, and spoons and things that were on it begin to fall onto the floor, and it kind of redirects itself up and over and towards you as you're frantically moving around doing things. What do you do?
So microwaves always have like a 1-button 30-second timer on them. So put the 30-second timer on it.
Okay. Inside you see little blue arcs begin to dance around the surface of the aluminum foil.
And then she knows there's like no back door in this kitchen. Like the doors are in the common room and entrance. So she's gonna try and duck back out the kitchen towards the entrance because she can't get all the way across the common room with everything there.
Okay. I feel like we're gonna have to do a roll for this.
Yeah.
Why don't we do doobie. Sorry, I'm looking at all the things, trying to think of what makes the mostest sense, because I feel like there's two aspects of this, and this may not be typical, but we're going to double attribute this, but it's not going to be two of the same attribute. You're going to do stamina. Sorry, not stamina. You're going to do dexterity and resolve.
Ooh. Okay.
As you steel your mind to deal with what you're about to do, and you're trying to dodge through all of this stuff. Now, just so you know, there are a whole bunch of donations. So if you roll poorly, you can use some of those as auto successes, and or if you have botches, you can get rid of the botches.
Okay. And how many successes do I need?
I don't know.
Okay. I just thought I'd ask. Oh, that was real bad. That was a real bad roll. I rolled 6 dice and only had 1 success.
Do you have any ones?
Well, no, I have 2. Sorry, I have 2 successes. I have 1.
Okay, so that gets rid of one of your successes. It gives you one success. But
okay.
You can use points.
Did ones get rid of successes if they're not on desperation dice?
I might have to verify that. I will say, say 2 is not enough.
Okay.
Would you like to use
Yes.
some hunter tokens donated by our wonderful audience?
I would love to.
Would you like me to just remove how many you need to succeed?
That would be great. And just tell me how many that is.
Okay.
So that I know.
The counter goes down. I'm going to add a counter for overlay for next time so we can also track these tokens. As you open the door, you start running and trying to dodge these, and you immediately slip and you eat it. You just start sliding across the linoleum, and you're like, I'm fucked. That was it. And then you hear a pounding at the door, and you hear Stephanie's voice. And Stephanie's like, hey, let me in. Sorry, I got locked out. Can you let me in? and you look up and you can see this person's face turn towards the door, and tendrils start going that direction. And just with this burning rage that fills you, you are still like kind of sliding, and you hit the wall, and you use your momentum to push up and against the wall. Bits of tendril shred against your shoulder. You like lash out with the knife that you didn't even realize was still in your hand, and you begin running for the door, and you hit the door at like a full sprint. There are tendrils reaching for you, reaching for the door. You can feel the expansion of them next to you, almost like somebody's like reaching out to touch you. And you hit the door. It is a push to open door. It is.
If it's not, it's violating a bunch of codes.
Right. It is OSHA compliant. You hit the door, and Stephanie just goes sprawling behind you. You like windmill your arms. You're trying to stay upright as you reach down. Gravel from the road, or like the dirt outside, embeds in your hand, but you stay up. You reach out. You drop the knife in order to grab Stephanie. Looking up, you see Gretchen standing off maybe 10, 15 feet away. She's smoking a cigarette, and her eyes go wide as she sees you, and she drops it real quick and stomps on it. And you just like haul Stephanie up and start running. You feel like you were saying something. You're not sure if you were like yelling coherently, but Gretchen just turns and runs away from you, whether it's fear of you or
I mean, maybe in that moment.
Maybe you said something. You're not even sure. And there's this whoomp, and this searing heat. And then you're sliding on the ground, and gravel's like digging into your face and into your arms as it like rips up your shirt. You can hear Stephanie rolling in the gravel next to you. Gretchen, there's like a oomph as she hits the ground and bounces. Bits of flaming debris start landing on you. You roll over, pull off your jacket, which is on fire, throw it on the ground. Stephanie's wearing like this polyester coat that's just like lit up, and you go over and you just push her over. You're not even thinking. Yeah, you pull it off her. You like stop, drop, and roll her. In seconds, things just happen. You don't even think about them. And then you stop, and you're like holding Stephanie by the shoulders, and you're checking her over to make sure she's okay. And she has some cuts, she has some bruises, but she's not even looking at you. And beyond her, you can see Gretchen stand up, and in the dark, you can see her blue eyes are reflected because the brilliance of the fire behind you is so bright. And you kind of turn and look, and there's just this inferno, and something inside is screaming. And it's not a human scream. It's more like maybe dozens of humans screaming at the same time with one voice. And you see something thrashing around every so often in the windows, smashing against the walls. Bricks shudder and start to fall out, and gouts of fire erupt out of them. And then it stops. The fire continues to burn, but the screaming fades away. There's a sizzling, and there's this horrendous smell. And you hear a crunch of gravel as Stephanie lowers herself down onto her knees, and then like side sits down, and you can just see tears running down her face as she stares into the blazing inferno where her mom is, and where Gretchen's dad is, and all of these other people that she's come to know that you've come to know.
Yeah, I kind of just sit down next to her as I pull out a phone, call 911.
Who's making the horn
Don't,
noises?
it happens every time, okay? It's always like at this time of day. It's not my fault. There's some person that at like 6 to 7 o'clock every day just comes by and does the stupid horn.
So right as all of this is happening, on a tricycle, a clown wheels by, honking a little horn. And we're going to go to break.
It's not my fault.
Thanks everybody for hanging out. Hey everyone, oh hang on, I have to transition over so that you can all see. There we go. All of you players also who have been hanging out through everyone's individual stories, thank you for doing so. We're going to come back in about 5 minutes and do the last bit of episode 1 of Hunter Bad Blood. Let's make sure I don't push the wrong button, and we will be right back.
Bye.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. Thank you, everyone, for chatting and for all of the donations for Hunter tokens. It has saved some bacon so far. Definitely
guys.
appreciated.
I blew up a building with me inside. So
Hooray! I appreciate that everyone's enjoying it. I definitely, like you say, in Dressarius, playing out Origins is always a fun thing to do. Sometimes, like, yeah, it's not necessary, but I felt for this game, it would be so much fun. Especially with the horrific backgrounds that everyone was like, this is where I came from. I'm like, okay, let's play that. So let's wrap up Mari's horrific background real quick. As after that night, you kind of made it your mission not only to kind of understand what had happened, but also to take care of Gretchen and Stephanie. You were friends mostly with Stephanie's mom, but you knew Gretchen's dad and knew that he was having a hard time, and the two of them are such fast friends. You wanted them to like find home together if possible, and so you've been kind of trying to help steer where they go. And right now they're in foster care, and they're going to the school that you teach at, and so you can kind of keep an eye on them. And it wasn't long after you left for the day that you got a call that Gretchen had actually punched the teacher, probably not long after you left. Something had set her off, and she's been having the hardest time adjusting, while Stephanie has been very melancholy about it. She's kind of tried to accept what's been going on and move forward, whereas Gretchen's been doing a lot of lashing out. And you felt like things were getting better, but then today she ended up punching the teacher. She's likely going to get suspended. You've been called in on Monday to have a talk with not only her counselor and the principal, but with her and with the teacher who she punched. Apparently he lost a front tooth. She socked him pretty good, for which you have a certain level of pride, because I feel like maybe you've been teaching them some self-defense.
Oh, absolutely.
But as you stand in this bar and the music is blasting away, and there's this dude that got in your face, and just you're here to find out what's hurting people, and you don't have time for these shenanigans. So we come back to you standing there. You take a breath, you look around, you see this bartender not a lot of people are going up and getting drinks from him. A couple. Seems like most of them are going down to this attractive woman on the other end that's wearing kind of this like raver outfit. You think it kind of matches what some of the other people here are wearing. It just seems like they are like going to see her instead of this guy. What do you do? Oh, wait, hang on. I just realized they wouldn't be able to hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, you see him contemplating, like look over, then contemplate like tying his shirt up so his abs are out. And then he's like, nah, that's not gonna work.
Like he does pull up the shirt a bit, and you see just like the six pack.
Yeah, and just like tries to tie it up, and it's like, nah. And
I just walk up to the bar and just kind of stand there, and usually when I go to bars, like the bartenders end up serving me very quickly. I don't have to like get their attention, so I just go up and I like kind of put my hands on the bar and just wait.
What are you having?
Do you have a specialty cocktail?
I slam a Michelob Ultra down and say, "There you go, special at night."
Absolutely not a specialty cocktail. I don't drink beer.
Hey, this is a special for tonight, but if you don't drink beer, that's fine. I guess I'll get something else for you. And I'll just make something. I can't think of alcohol cocktails off the top of my head right now. Just a Long Island iced tea. Just here. There you go. Specialty.
Very original. I can see why you get all of the business.
Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory, isn't it?
Great. She just takes the drink and like kind of spins in the stool and puts her back up against the bar and is just looking across the.
Cool, good talk. Yeah. I just go milling about doing bartender things.
While this is going on, Billy is still conversing with this weightlifter, bodybuilder guy. Is there anything else that Billy is doing? Like, if you've tried to detach from the conversation, the fellow has kind of followed you now that you've shown interest in what he does.
Yeah, like after I've gotten his number, probably looking around and just keeping an eye on like the club security. There's a certain, I'm gonna say, like signature of things like drug deals that I'm pretty used to, and that I sort of expect to be going on. That doesn't bother me. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that that looks a little bit more tense or out of place.
Okay.
Right? So I think that's probably what Billy's looking for.
So you definitely marked there was the guy who checked your IDs, and then as you came in, there was a guy who was dressed up like a lot of the party goers, but you got the feeling he was also a bouncer. No identification otherwise, but you had this feeling. And looking around, you definitely notice every so often hands are, slipping together as people exchange money for little packets or little tubules and stuff, stickers and dissolvey little tongue. They look like temporary tattoos. But again, not what you're looking for. Maybe back when you were on, the police department and like if this was a sting, you'd be like, hey, I just bring all of these people in. Done. But
I was never a vice. Let them get high.
fair enough. But looking around, you do notice kind of up near the DJ is this person. Hard to tell much about them as they're wearing like a bright purple, like neon purple and green kind of plasticky looking coat. They've got it pulled over and they're wearing this huge possum head made out of like plastic. It's like all these kind of this intricate designs and angles of these plastic plates that make what looks like a screaming possum head. But beyond the fact that it's, you know, goofy, there is a certain something to their posture, the way that they're moving about. Every so often you do see people come up and talk to them, and like they give them something, but you don't see this person give them anything back. And so you're kind of watching what's going on over there.
Now, what's Possum doing? Is Possum dancing? Is Possum working the DJ booth? Is Possum just chilling?
Possum's near the DJ booth and is dancing, but kind of just like, you know, like not really getting into it necessarily, more of just keeping with the beat, as opposed to a lot of the other people are like full on like glow sticks and raving, and it's more like he's just taking up that space.
You said that there was another person that I suspected was a bouncer, right? Can I follow that person's gaze? Can I tell if they've put any interest on Possum?
I feel like we can do a roll here. What do we call it? A wits? An insight.
And insight. So I'm taking both of those things and putting them together, right?
Right.
And
then rolling
sixes
that.
and above are a success.
6s and above, yep.
All right, that would be 4 successes.
Awesome. Easily you look over, you're tracking his eyes and his posture, kind of his attitude as he's watching. He definitely is watching Possum, as well as the people who are like going up and delivering things to him. Seems a little annoyed, like he's trying to figure out what's going on. And every so often he glances over at the bar, like he's trying to maybe get the bartender's attention, but he's not, you get the feeling he can't really leave the area he's at. Every so often you see him kind of take a couple steps towards the bar, and he like kind of tries to lean up. He's a shorter fellow though, and you notice the bartender probably can't see what's going on.
I think Billy's gonna reach into his pack real quick, pull out his phone, and just text Mari, check out the big possum head.
Okay. Mari, you feel your phone vibrate.
Yeah, I pull out the phone, I look at it, I look up, and just kind of do one of those quick, like, scans of the room. I'm sure I already know where the possum head is, but I'm not trying to, like, make it obvious.
Right.
Checking out
Where you're sitting, it's actually a little harder to see. He's largely covered by the audience. However, you do see the top of his plastic head kind of bobbing and weaving in a very small space. He's not moving around much.
Yeah, I'll just send back, like, a quick text, and I'll say I'm on it, and I'll leave some cash and a tip on the bar with, like, a mostly full drink that I didn't a drink and just kind of like slip off into the crowd to try and like get a vantage point on this possum guy.
Okay.
I've seen this entire interaction. I just take the. All right, I guess.
Right. So Ray, you're like. First of all, I have to ask how was the drink that you made?
I think it was pretty good. I don't know, but you got to ask the person drinking it. I think
That's fair. Okay. So
no, it's pretty good, but she was never gonna drink the full drink of whatever she got. Like that's.
And Mari, did you tip well, or did you just like throw some change? Yeah.
25%.
So, Ray, you look down and there's more than like a handful of change there, and that's kind of a neat feeling. Tonight has not been a great tip night for you. However, as this woman gets up and move away, there's just been this growing coldness in your gut, and you just feel like something is going to happen. And you watch as she disappears into the dancing crowd. And there have been times, and you've told some people this, mostly when you were very young. And again, you learn to just kind of not tell people things. There are times when you see things differently than what other people, at least what you've been told other people see. And you glance over and you see the DJ's people, those three kind of punky dressed people. They've been dancing around, kind of being annoying and silly. But it looks like the guy with the mohawk and this woman who has like this spike driven through her lip, her lower lip, and just has, it looks like these curling fangs are coming down around her chin from it. They're like leading people towards the door that leads into like your back room, and like that there's an exit back there that the DJ came through, and they've been kind of going in and out all night, but they're leading other people back there. And you see sorry, hang on one second.
Fiona.
Thank you. You see Fiona. She kind of leans over and she grabs like the guy who isn't leading someone, and you can't hear what she's saying. It's just too loud. The music's just like thumping away. People are yelling, and you see her and she's like shouting at him, and like you could tell that she's saying, no, you can't go back there. And he leans in and he says something to her. And as he says something in her ear, his eyes glance up at you, and you swear that as he smiles, his mouth reaches further back than it should. It almost seems like it's going to tear his face. And then you blink and it's gone, and he just kind of winks at you. And Fiona like nods, and she flips up like the bar top that you kind of flip down when you're not using it as a walkway. And she follows him out the door, and all 6 of them now disappear into the back room, and the door closes.
Okay, so 2 things. One, completely unrelated. Do I see the big possum head?
Go ahead and make a what do we call that? Wits? No, it wasn't wits insight. It was. Oh, we didn't do that one. Let's do intelligence.
Intelligence. And what am I rolling? Is D10s I'm rolling, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Just roll intelligence twice.
Roll intelligence twice. So I'm adding the points I have in intelligence, right?
Correct. So how many do you have in intelligence?
2.
So you'll roll 4 d10s.
4 d10s.
For every 6 and above is a success.
That is a 10, and 8. So I got 2 successes.
2 successes. And you said a 10 and an 8?
Yeah.
Okay, if you ever get 2 10s, that's a critical success, which is even better. But so you got a 10 and an 8, 2 successes. Looking around, you kind of see what might be this mask that is kind of bouncing around, but it's so like hidden by the crowd. The person is so hidden by the crowd, you can't really tell for sure. Real quick, I want to shout out Rolling Nomads for the raid. Thank you so much. Good to see you folks.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that was just unrelated to what I was gonna do. I just wanted to know if I saw that or not. You know, I don't know what they were talking about.
Yeah.
I didn't even see the text message. I just wanted to see. So I know that no one's supposed to go back there. I know Fiona knows that no one's supposed to go back there. So no matter what they could have said to get Fiona to, you know, agree to that is weird. So I'm gonna go back there. I'm gonna leave Tim, the unheard of, not Tim, Frank, the unheard of third bartender that no one notices, to take care of the bar.
Yeah, he's actually like the bar back. For the most part, he just like cleans glasses and cleans up everyone's slop. But you're like, hey, watch the bar.
Yeah, Frank, just keep an eye on the bar. I'll be right back. And yeah, I go do that. I go back there.
As you leave, Frank, he's like, his face is just like, really? And he looks at the crowd and all the people that are standing and waiting in line.
Yeah.
You push through the door. It is a push-pull door. You can go through either way. You push through, and you notice right away that the door to the... There's an alley outside, but there's actually kind of like a little common area that's connected to the building next door. During the day they use it, but they're closed at night. And so during the nighttime, this is pretty much your break room out here. You can see that the door to it is open, and you can hear a scuffle.
All right, so I kind of rush out a little bit, just calling out to Fiona. Fee, you all right? And then I just, you know, rush through the door.
All right, so rushing through the door, the first thing you see is the guy with the mohawk is bent over the form of this teenage girl. You're pretty sure either she got in without being carded or she has a fake ID or something. She definitely is not an adult of drinking age. He's bent over her in this weird hunched manner. Like, at first you think there's like something like sexual going on or whatever, but then like, no, he's like biting her throat. And she kind of slaps at him weakly. And you can hear the sucking noises that he's making. And just a little bit of blood drops on the ground underneath her.
Yeah, can I put a stop to this?
Are you asking me, or are you asking them?
Yes, I'm asking you.
Okay, okay.
Hey,
I didn't know if you...
This.
How would you put a stop to it?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna just combat boot to the ribs.
Okay, so
Hey,
we're gonna
just kick them.
We're gonna call that a strength brawl.
Strength brawl. That's a lot more D10s than I got.
Carly, it's time for Armadillo Dice to start making Hunter the Reckoning dice.
Yeah, I need like 30.
Hey, look, I got custom sets. People can, like, the sets don't have to be a standard 7-piece set. They can be any 7 pieces you want.
That's right.
Oh shit. Okay. You said strength brawl?
Correct.
How about here? So 9. It's 1, 2, 3 successes.
3 successes.
6s.
Your boot connects solidly with his ribs, and you hear him kind of grunt as, excuse me, he drops the girl. There's like a, not like a crack, but the sound of like a kind of a loose body hitting the ground. She moans a little bit and just kind of slaps again at his shoe. He turns and looks at you. There's just a little bit of blood dripping from both sides of his mouth, and his incisors are enormous as he hisses at you.
Hell?
His eyes have just the slightest golden glint to them. Meanwhile, inside, Billy, what are you up to?
What have I noticed?
So you did see Mari get up and start heading into the crowd. What did you do after that?
I think my plan had been to head over to the possum guy.
Okay.
And I did have something in mind for that. I'm curious if I notice like the entire bar staff like ducking out before that's going on.
I feel like you will have a better chance than Mari will because you were kind of facing that direction, whereas Mari was walking away from it. So I'm going to have you do a roll. It's going to be intelligent. We'll do double intelligence again.
Okay. All right, that is not a good roll. I have no successes and one critical failure.
Whoo! Now remember, you do have a whole bunch of hunter tokens that have been donated if you want to use any of them.
Yeah, let's burn those up. We're
Okay.
getting late in the evening.
So we'll call it 2 points to notice. Jason, if you could remove those from the list, that'd be awesome.
Yes, sir.
As you start following Mari through the crowd, your gaze does catch as the bartender, the woman, like follows this group of punks that you kind of noticed being weird. Like they were just kind of at the periphery of your vision. They were dancing, but they were dancing like they were kind of mockingly dancing, but you were like, whatever. They weren't being super strange, but then all of a sudden, like, they're pulling people out of the crowd, and one of the bartenders, and they disappear through the door, and then the other bartender, the one that Mari got the drink from, is kind of staring after what's going on, and then tells the bar back something, and then goes through the swinging door as well.
I gotta imagine that is out of the ordinary. We've got like a hopping scene in here, like a line full of people waiting to be served.
Yeah.
And they're ducking out.
I would say the body language that I was giving off was a little bit concerning, I guess. I'd say it's like it's not what, yeah, tense. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. It wasn't like a casual just walk out. It's like, what's happening here?
Okay. I think I'm gonna Billy's gonna follow, and he's actually gonna get out his phone and ring Peter and or Alex while he's heading out after those two.
Alex?
Felix.
Outside. Peter, go ahead and roll a double intelligence for me. The suspense is killing me.
I know. Just tell me what you got.
What'd you get, Peter?
Sorry, I missed you said my name.
Oh, I'm like,
Here you go.
So Peter, do a double
Yeah,
intelligence.
double
Yeah.
Yep. That would be 6 successes.
Wow.
Sorry, I totally didn't hear Peter. I was like,
No.
Wait, what?
That's
yeah.
Call
not
like six.
bad.
Ader, Alex, Ader,
Right.
Alex.
One of the we'll figure out how to refer to you the best. As you're sitting there, and you've kind of been reminiscing about what's gotten you here. You hear a scuffle down the alley, and that in itself in Santa Cruz, not that weird. But given that you are here for a reason, that like weird things have been happening, you do like kind of wheel over and glance down the alleyway. It's dimly lit, but you do see some service lights that are kind of like porch lights that are on some of the doors that are further down the alley, and there's like a larger parking area for people who work there and all that. And you see this guy in he's wearing these kind of like baggy, brightly colored pants and like a white tank top. He's wearing these gloves that are neon pink, and he has his hair slicked back. He like comes running out when an arm reaches out, grabs him by not just the back of the shirt, but it seems to like grab into his skin and yanks him backwards. What do you do?
Well, knowing I probably can't take this guy on by myself, I will text Billy. Go. Trouble outside. And he pulled him back into the alley, correct?
Correct. Yeah, so there's an alley that goes down the length of the building, and it seemed like there was some kind of entrance that he ran out of that he got pulled back into. So he ran into the alley and then got pulled out of it.
Like back into the building, effectively.
I feel like you all have scoped this out. There's like an outdoor courtyard area that he probably came out of.
All right. Well, before I go charging down in there, I'll open up my backpack, pull out the drone.
Okay.
And send it up and see if I can get like a view of what's going on in there, in case there's more than one, etc.
So there's a zzz as your drone takes off. Billy, inside, you pull your phone out to call Peter, and you see a text has come through from him probably about the time you pulled it out. He says there's trouble outside.
Okay. Probably gonna continue going through with the call, but we're gonna walk and talk.
Okay. The phone rings, Peter.
Oh, shit. Forgot to turn off the ringer. I'll answer it. Hey, I think there's something going on out here. Some Vanilla Ice looking guy got pulled into an alley really hard. I'm trying to get view on it now.
Yeah, it's kind of a shit show in here. This whole time, like, Billy's sort of pushing through the crowd on his way out to the back door.
Okay.
I don't know what the bar staff is doing. The place is hopping and they're not serving any drinks. But like, I'm gonna go take a look, see maybe they have some deliveries around the back. So yeah, just hold on just a moment. He's like going out, and
as you walk by, Frank is like the only bartender. You could tell he's like this young kid, and he's trying to take orders, and he's all like, "Yeah, I got that. A rum and coke. What's in that?" And he's trying. You open the door. There is a small storage area that leads to like a freezer on the right, or like a cooler on the right. However, there's an open door that leads to a courtyard ahead of you. You see fighting going on. Meanwhile, Mari, what are you doing?
Well, I was told to look at the possum guy.
Yeah.
So I slipped into the crowd and I'm kind of like sneaking my way to get a visual on him to see what he's doing, what he's up to.
Okay. As you get to the possum guy, are you being like sneaky about it, or are you trying to just walk up?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to be sneaky about it, like blend into the crowd so that I can kind of keep an eye on what he's doing without being.
Let's do a dexterity stealth roll. While you're rolling that, the drone goes over. You look down. There are several people in this courtyard, Peter. It seems like they're all struggling. At least 3 pairs are struggling. There is one guy who seems to be like standing over a young girl who's laying on the ground and wrestling with another guy who's also standing over that same girl. But the other 2 that at first you thought they were fighting one another, it seems like of each pair, one of the strugglers is like more like trying to fend off weakly their attacker. Mari, what'd you get?
3 successes.
3 successes. You kind of scoot your way through the crowd. You notice this guy is just like standing there swaying, bopping back and forth. Every so often he like makes some pizza, rolls out the dough, and then somebody comes up to him and like hands him what looks like a package of, just looking at it, it looks like an envelope of money. He doesn't hand anything back to them. They look at him kind of like nervously and then wander back into the crowd.
I'm gonna find the person that did that and kind of like pull them aside in the dancing crowd, like kind of, try to circle them in front of me.
So as you follow that person, it's kind of a shorter guy, some dark spiky hair. He's wearing like a button up, but it's like one of those designer ones that has like flames on it and some skulls and stuff. And he's wearing some loose fitting jeans. You get closer and you can just like smell the Axe body spray kind of like wafting back as he heads for the bar.
Yeah, I mean, if I could, I was gonna try and like kind of like hook him into like dance with me from the dance floor.
Gotcha. Yeah, you grab him and you start like dancing with him, and he looks at you and he's like, "What do you want?"
To dance.
Oh, I mean, you're a little old for me, but all right. He starts dancing with you.
And she's real, she's not subtle, so she's just gonna straight up be like, "So, I saw you hand some money to Possum Guy. What was that about?"
He just like stops dancing, drops his hands down. It's none of your business.
None of my business?
Yeah. You're weird. And he turns and starts walking back towards the bar. Hey, can I get a... Hey, what? I'm trying to get a drink. Leave me alone, strange old lady.
I like yank him back, hold on to his arm and like yank him back to me on the dance floor.
Do a double strength.
Okay. Two successes.
Okay. Yeah, you easily pull him back without like ripping his arm out or anything like that. He comes spinning back to you. He's just like, "Whoa, mama. Jeez. Somebody needs to get laid or something. Fine. You want to go back to my place?"
Absolutely not. I'd really like to know what's going on with your interaction.
How is this happening? Are you convincing or intimidating?
Probably more intimidation. She's got like no charisma and no manipulation. Those are her lowest.
Why don't we call it a resolve intimidation?
Okay. This is gonna go really good, guys.
Meanwhile, outside.
So I rolled 3 dice and I got 3 successes.
Wow. Okay.
Nice.
He looks like he's gonna walk off again, and then he glances back at Possum Guy. He's just all like, "Why do you want to know?"
Well, find it weird that you're giving someone money and not getting anything. I'd
That's
like to know what's going on.
we're getting plenty. We're getting protection.
Protection from who?
There's things out here that are, you wouldn't understand. There's like people that are hurting the business owners around here and stuff. I've got a little bakery down the road. Makes donuts and stuff, gluten free, vegan, dairy free.
I've been there. It's really good.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I mean, you are kind of my market crowd. Older, white lady.
Yeah. I do like my baked goods. So Possum provides protection?
I mean, he knows the people that do. He's just, I guess he's just like their front man or whatever.
Alright. Give him a nice little like tap and just be like, you're free to go.
You coming back to my place?
No.
Women. And he turns and walks off.
I'm gonna look around. Do I see Billy at all?
So yeah, now looking around, you notice after this, and he's like kind of over by the bar. The bartender that you talked to, the other bartender that you'd noticed most people were getting their drinks from, and Billy have all disappeared. You have no idea where they're at.
I'm gonna go up to the bar.
Okay. As you sidle up to the bar, outside there is a shit show going on. Billy, you've entered into what looks like 3 vampires trying to feast on some club goers and the bartender. The other bartender is currently trying to fight off one of them. Peter, are you still at the start of the alley, or did you start heading down the alley?
I'll be heading down that way.
Okay.
I'll set the drone to kind of stay above and record.
You're like watching the drone as you like roll that way, and you get to the doorway. There's like a gate that's open, and there's actually like a van parked nearby that says like, what's the DJ's name?
Scanlan.
DJ Scanlan. Says
Yeah,
DJ
right.
Scanlan on it. And you come around the corner and you see the same thing shortly after Billy arrives. Ray, while they're essentially catching up to you, what's been going on?
Oh, I was just putting a pause to this vamp. That's what I thought I was doing.
Okay.
So I just assume after you kick a guy square in the ribs, interrupting his quote unquote meal, they'd want to retaliate.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just fighting this guy and
Okay.
trying, put him down so I can go help the other, Fiona and the other one.
So go ahead and make a brawl strength again as you're fighting this fellow.
5, right? All right. Ha! So that's 9 and 6, 7. So 4 successes out of 5 dice.
Nice. Are you punching him?
Krav Maga, whatever it takes, man. I don't know.
All right, so essentially you're just like brawling with him, like punching and kicking. It and while you're landing a lot of blows, it doesn't seem to be wearing him down, and you're starting to get tired. And then he just reaches out and like grabs you by your hair, like by the back of the head, and lifts you up. You're like swinging and trying to kick him, and his eyes flash. Go ahead and do a composure check for me.
Just composure
Yeah, so it'll be whatever your composure is times 2.
times 2. Okay, wait. So I'm rolling.
Actually, no, sorry, I'm in the wrong list. Resolve. I need resolve.
So I'm rolling whatever resolve is. So I'm multiplying whatever my resolve is and then rolling that. Or just,
Correct. Yeah. So
okay.
whatever your resolve is times 2.
All right. So that is a 10 and a 7. 2 successes out of 4 dice.
Okay.
These.
You want to keep fighting. Like you can see Fiona is starting to go slack as this woman that had the weird facial piercings that like look like fangs. You realize that she actually also has fangs as she's draining Fiona of her life's blood, and you're trying to hit this guy and he leans in to bite you. Billy, what are you doing?
Billy is at this point, he's taken his Glock out of his fanny pack and he's aiming both that and his phone straight at this shit show.
Okay.
And he's just shouting, y'all need to fuck right off before y'all become the next Facebook Live sensation and I go shots fired and get the LAPD up in here.
Okay. Peter, on the other side of this, you can see Billy is standing in a doorway, Glock out, phone out. You can see what you see is mirrored back at you in tiny detail on the phone. Near you, you see that guy has completely stopped moving, and a small, kind of petite woman that's dressed in like all punk gear. She has her head is shaved except for like some little like spiky knobs. Just drops him and he falls to the ground. His eyes are just open, and she looks at you. What are you doing?
Well, first, before we did this, would I be able to try to get ordnance before we came?
Coordinates.
Yeah, I have to make a composure plus science.
Yes.
Ordinance.
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
All right. Let me see if I actually have any.
Bombs. Everyone's bombs.
Coordinates.
Yeah, I was like, that's why I said it again.
Right.
And then Jeremy still looked confused. I'm like, he wants bombs.
We're
He
talking
wants
chemistry, not
explosives.
cartography.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm all like, you know where you're at.
So I got 4 successes, which gets me 1.
Okay.
So he'll roll up. He's seeing these vampires, seeing one of them's just hopefully catching one of them distracted. He's gonna try to slip it on. Like they've got, like he's got like this small little, almost like a C4 charge.
Okay.
With a belt, and he's gonna try to sneak it onto the back of this guy
Okay.
while he's engaged in combat.
So there's technically 2 female vampires between you and the guy because he's closest to Billy, who's on the other side.
He didn't care which one.
Okay. Yeah, the girl that dropped the guy who was like in the neon coat.
Okay.
She's closest to you.
Okay.
So like as she's finishing up draining him and like she looks up at you and starts to let him go, you just like wheel up and click. And she looks down at it and back up at you, like confused. Like,
Peter will look
the
up
hell?
at her. Yeah, let's blow some shit up together.
and she looks down at it again. Her eyes are wide. What do you do?
He just stares at her like, "You want to go?"
She starts scrambling to try and like pull it off.
He'll grab it and try to stay with her. I'm not scared. Are you?
She looks
Peter's
down at
like-
you. She's
like
all like, "Get it off
crazy
me,
guy.
old man! What the hell's wrong with you? Do you want to die?
I got nothing to live for. What about you?
Take it off! Take it off me!"
Why don't you get out of here first?
What?
And he'll pull up
She's-
the detonator in his hand.
Oh, fuck. And she just runs.
Okay. I'll give it like a 5 count.
And then do you push the button or?
And push the button.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Look at the next one. I've got more.
So, Billy, you see this mohawked vampire holding bartender up by his hair, essentially, by the scruff of his neck. He's bringing him in to bite him as you shout your threats, and he looks at you, and you can tell that his fangs have, like, just pierced the bartender's neck. And he squints his eyes at you and, like, very softly bites down. And then there's this, like, resounding explosion down the alley, to which he, like, draws back and looks. Ray, you, like, snap out of this weird daze that you're in. Like, what the heck just happened? Your neck hurts a little bit. And you look as this creature, this vampire, is looking off down the alley. He looks angry. He's still holding you. And then he, like, stops and he looks confused for a moment. And he looks at you. And he grabs his mouth. And you see smoke rising from between his fingers. What are you doing?
I'm gonna try to get out his the grip, the grasp.
Yeah. Go ahead and do a double strength. Or brawl if you want to, like, whatever's better for you, actually.
So double strength.
Double strength or brawl and strength.
I'll do brawl and strength then.
Okay.
That is a 1 success, 8.
At first you think he's going to be able to keep a hold of you. Like, he just has this iron grip. But his grip is shaking. And he just lets go of you as you, like, fight it. And he raises his other hand to his mouth and he steps back and you can see bubbles in his face starting to rise and going down his throat. And smoke is starting to rise from him. Billy, as you're watching this, this is what happens when sunlight hits vampires. You're not really sure what the hell's going on. What do you do?
So, Billy was bluffing about recording or streaming early.
Okay.
Right, he was on the phone with Alex, but just acting as if he was doing it. But I think he's going to take a moment and, like, just actually open up the camera thing and just, like, actually turn on the recording
Okay.
thing here while he watches this guy start to blister and bubble. So he'll film that while he takes a moment to just sort of glance around. And there were a couple other people
Yeah, so
struggling
there's...
here. Just re-evaluate the situation.
So real quick, scanning across, you notice the bartender's now standing on his own, not far from you. At his feet, between him and the vampire that appears to be going through the sunlight reaction, on the ground is a young girl who still appears to be alive, but has been severely drained. Not far beyond that, you see the other bartender that you noticed earlier, that is still struggling slightly, but pretty weakly with another female vampire. On the ground further past that is the body of one of the partygoers, and then you see Peter smiling maybe a little smugly. His hand on or his finger having just depressed a detonator.
I think I'm just counting the one vampire that's snacking on Fiona at this point. So I think I'm probably gonna run over there and just get like right up as close as I can. Especially like if the vamp isn't paying attention to me. And then try to open up like into the back of their head.
Okay. You do notice that they are looking around. They've stopped feeding because, I mean, there was an explosion.
Okay.
There's some screaming going on. The one vampire guy is like starting to yell in pain. But you can try to shoot them if you want.
Yeah, we've already got a whole lot of attention. I don't think it hurts to squeeze off a few rounds.
Right? The shatter spell has been cast. Everyone can hear for... Oh, wrong game. Go ahead and do
your
a
protection. I'm sorry.
Right. I believe we'll do dexterity firearms.
All right, so that's... All right, and that would be 3 successes.
Nice. Like, because of the angle and everything, like, you don't just, like, unload into their head, but, like, you shoot it in the head first. Part of their jaw just disappears as they're moving. You're, like, the line of bullets just kind of crosses across their chest. They're thrown back. I need to check something real quick. Hang on. They do lose grip of Fiona, who falls to the floor or to the ground. Meanwhile, inside, Mari, you hear an explosion outside. Even though it's super loud in here, like, you see glasses shake. Some glasses near the end of the bar that have been set up there after people were done drinking them fall off. Some of the party goers kind of look around, but the other ones are like, yeah, and start, like, dancing more. What do you do?
I will just think to myself, well, that's my cue, and I'm gonna swipe like some sort of like half drunken like glass of something that's not like a beer, but like has like flammable alcohol.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna take it with me as I head towards the back where I heard the explosion.
Like, you walk by and there's just like all these glasses and you kind of sniff one. You're like, oh yeah, that one, that's potent. You start heading out and all of a sudden you hear gunfire coming from the direction of the door that you're heading towards. And at that point, the closer club goers kind of like look at the door and start like muttering. The DJ's still up there. He's got his headphones on. He's like, what do you do?
I'll just say, woo! Such good sound effects! And head out the door.
Okay. As you open the door, you see beyond essentially everything that's been going on up to this point. Although, Ray, you're a little more cohesive now. What do you do?
So what am I looking at? What's the situation looking like?
So there's this vampire who seems to be slowly catching fire and melting in front of you. Another one has just been shot that dropped Fiona. And otherwise there are these 3 strange people. One of them just came through the back door that you came out of earlier and is holding a glass of something. The other one that you saw in the club earlier has a gun that they got into your club somehow, and a blue fanny pack, and has just like unloaded into the vampire that was feasting on Fiona. Across the way from you, you see one of the club goers looks dead, like is completely pale, eyes are staring, but Fiona's on the ground moving. The other girl seems to be just like slightly coherent and sitting in a like rickety old wheelchair at the exit of this little common area that goes into the alley is some guy with this massive Santa Claus beard.
Santa Claus bear threw me for a loop and threw me off a little bit. So yeah, I just kicked this guy like down to the ground because obviously he's not doing anything. So I just kick him down to the ground.
Okay.
And I just scramble over to check on Fiona and the other girl, and I'm assuming the other guy is dead because he looks dead.
Okay. Go ahead and do a brawl. It won't take much.
Just a brawl?
But you could always completely work things up. You never know. Yeah, sorry, it'd be brawl strength.
So yeah, 2 7s and a 6.
Nice. You just like, this is Sparta, boot him. He goes like flying a few feet, lands on the ground. You actually notice that bits of him are like breaking off into ash and kind of floating in the air as he's like writhing on the ground and screaming. The scream sounds like it's getting deeper in his throat as he turns to ash and flame is kind of coming out of him. As you bend towards Fiona, the vampire woman that Billy shot looks at Billy and you and Peter, looks down at Fiona, is going to try and grab her. We're going to call this a...
Dead. Oh.
I don't get to do anything yet. I just walked out.
Yeah, you were moving into the scene.
I thought that vampire lady that got shot was dead. That's why. Okay.
She is definitely messed up.
Yeah, I thought,
and she's
out of the picture. That's why I did what I did. I would have, but it's fine. I made the choice.
And as Ray, you're like, oh, this is fine, And then she stands up and looks at you, and she's kind of like hunched over, and she's gripping her face, which is just kind of dangling off, like her jaw. You notice that weird piercing. One of them is dangling like freely, and she's like glaring at Billy, glares at you, seems confused, and she swipes at Fiona. We're just gonna call this double strength for her. Completely misses. You actually like kind of block her, and then she jumps and like lands on the first story roof that's connected to your bar, the building behind you, and begins to run. Mari, she's still in your sights.
Okay, so how far away is she? Like where? Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where she went relative to where I am.
So she went more vertical than horizontal. So she's still pretty much out to the court, but then she jumped up onto the roof, which is about 12 feet above. She's still within your line of sight, and it looks like she's starting to run. Is there anything you would like to do?
So like across the courtyard, not like above me, because I
So
just came out of the bar.
Sorry, as you come out, the left-hand side wall is essentially the building behind the bar. And so she jumps up on that, is running. She's going to run across its roof.
Always have to. And so the roof is like 12 feet up, or is she 12 feet away from me?
Both of those things, yes. She is 12 feet up, maybe 10 feet out. You can do the triangle if you want, but we'll just call it 20 feet.
Okay, so I know what I would like to do, but I don't know because I know what I was gonna do when I walked in on this scene, and I didn't get a chance to react, and now
Do
it's
tell.
changed. So, I would like to try to get up there, to get up next to her,
Yeah.
and then I have a thing that I want to do. But
You glance around, there like there's a trash bin, there's some chairs. You could easily parkour up there.
great, I'm gonna take a swig of the drink that I have in my hand, not swallow it. Very important. I'm gonna take a swig of this and not swallow it, and then I'm gonna hop up to follow her, or like get right up next to her. And then what I want to do is take out my lighter and then spray through my lit lighter.
Sure. I don't even know what to call this. We're gonna call it dexterity. Throw something at me. What do you think it would? It's not firearms necessarily.
I would say brawl or athletics, maybe.
Yeah, let's call it athletics. Science. It's science because I'm spraying science
I know,
at her.
but it's more physical control
Right.
than
Yeah,
the
we can do brawl strength.
knowing
Or
how
sorry,
to do it.
We'll do brawl dexterity for it.
Okay, great. Let's do that. Do I get to add my extra thing for fucking up vampires? 'Cause that's
This does
I
appear
have
to be a
brawl
vampire.
fucking up vampires,
Yeah.
So I will take my extra dice for that. Okay, let's see what we got. So that's 2 10s, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7.
As you
Nice.
exhale, this stream of burning liquid erupts as you light it, completely coating her as she has turned and is trying to run across the rooftop from you. You're not even quite like up on the roof when you do this. You're like kind of leaping up onto it, and you just like side from below. This vampire just goes up like a torch. Peter, you look down and your drone is just like capturing all of this on the ground. The vampire that bit Ray, or this person, you don't know who it is, but the one who bit Ray, is completely immolating. Is just like falling into ash. There's flame gouting out of it. The one on the roof is just burning like a candle. As your drone is hovering around, you notice Ray stops over Fiona to check on her, and then kind of hitches and collapses to the ground.
Oh no.
In the distance, you can all hear sirens as the club music continues to thump away inside. And that is where we're going to call it for tonight. Thank you all for...
I guess my character now has a fascination with fire. I guess that's happened.
What? I couldn't
That's
tell. Awesome. Thank you so much. You all rock. I can't wait to see what comes out of this next week, diving into Billy's backstory, as well as Professor Hayden Raskin, who will join us as well, and learning about Ray's awakening to the world of darkness. Let's do another round of outros, intro outros, explanations of who you are. Let's start with Ray this time. Sid, tell us who you are, who you played, where to find you on the internet.
Hey, I'm Sid. You can find me on the interwebs at _Sundance Sid, just about everywhere. And here on this channel a whole lot, because I like it here. It's fun here.
We like it here that you like it here.
I'm playing Raymond Shepard, newbie hunter, I suppose, vampire kicker. So yeah, that's a thing. And I'm gonna just toss it on over to Carly.
Yeah. Hi, guys. I'm Carly. You can find me at Carly Steichen on the socials. Also at Armadillo Dice on Etsy. I make them clicky clacky math rocks that we love to play games with. Yeah, and I am playing Mari Griff, school teacher turned
Pyromaniac.
vampire.
Oh, what?
So, because I guess when you are really good with your fists and not much else, and you're fighting vampires, you gotta be a little creative, which is, I guess, involves using aerosol and spraying alcohol with lighter. So
Improvisation.
improvisation. I mean, she is a teacher. She is a science teacher. So she knows the things.
Right.
She knows the things. It's fine.
Real quick before you popcorn it, Raven, thank you for redeeming the pub retreat. Libby is currently mid-dream. She's back there twitching away. I'm going to deliver that treat when she wakes up. Who would you like to popcorn it over to?
Popcorn it over to Ed.
Hey, it's been an excellent evening. My name's Ed. I've been playing Billy Gray. This has just been absolutely great. Getting an introduction to the world, getting to know a little bit more about Mari and about Peter and/or Alex. So it's been a delightful evening. And I'm looking forward to being back here in 2 weeks to talk a little bit more about what Billy's up to.
Nice.
So looking forward to that.
Pelex? I just feel like we should come up with like
Felix. That's what I said, Pelex.
Oh, did you?
That's what I've been saying every time.
Just flex.
Everybody's like, Peter or Alex, and make it Pelex.
I think that's a good excuse to kick it over to Jason.
I was going to say.
Yep. Hey, I'm Jason. I'm playing Peter Alex, or Alex Peter, or Pelix, or whatever. The now semi-crazy vampire hunter. Well, no, more than semi-crazy. Full-on crazy. Going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to hearing the other backstories soon, so it should be great.
Nice.
And you can catch me here. You can catch me on my channel on Glass Jaws. So. And over to you, Jeremy.
Thanks. I'm Jeremy. You can find me here. Trying to think of what's coming up other than this in 2 weeks. So this is going to be an every other Saturday game. So join us on the 27th as Tim joins the cast. There might also be another cast member joining. We will see how this goes. We're gonna raid over. Hey, if you want to follow me on socials, it's at WH Pubs. Also, I guess I should say all of our stuff that has happened before, past things, are on our YouTube. Currently now in our chat. Go over and follow that link. We're trying to hit our 500 followers goal sometime this, I don't know, life. If I do it after this life, it's just not as much use, I guess. To me. But we're gonna raid over to, I think Ain't Got Crit. Doot. Raid Ain't Got Crit. And then on Wednesday, come back for the Horde of the Dragon Queen here on this channel at 2 p.m. in the afternoon Eastern, as we are trying to bring back Tiamat. Why do we want to banish her or keep her banished? No, we're cultists. We want Tiamat to come back. So join us for that. And then we will see you. We do have some Daggerheart stuff that Carly is going to run, but I can't tell you about that quite yet because we don't know for sure when it's going to be. Might be next Friday, might be the Friday after that, might be both Fridays. We're going to find out tonight when our casting call closes. Yay! So thanks everybody. We appreciate it. We appreciate all of the chats and all of the tokens that you guys supported the cast with. We're going to bank those so they will remain through next time as well. Thank you again. Have a wonderful night, and we will see you next time.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, guys.